Perfect.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Brooks McQuaid, Associate Director in the Tilton School Admissions Office. You've heard from me a couple times about the invitation and also your confirmation for joining tonight's Zoom. We're really excited to have you. I'm grateful. We're all grateful that you would take time out of your busy lives at 7 p.m. to join us to hear more about some unique programming that we have to offer in our second virtual series of Tuesdays with Tilton. Tonight, we're going to talk about Go Beyond. Our presenter, Colleen Coyne, who is our Dean of Afternoon and Athletic Programs, will be the lead presenter. We're also lucky enough to have Connor Compton, who's our Director of Academics and Student Growth. And then we have Dave Smuddick from Highland Mountain, who's on the executive team over there. Vice President holds a great deal of responsibility, and he'll be able to chat specifically about their programming over there. So if you have any questions at any time, we're going to make sure that we pause in a timely fashion to answer those questions. But we're at the end of the day very excited that you could join us, and like I said, take time out of your busy schedules to listen to the wonderful programming that we have here at the Tilton School. And like I said, this is being recorded. I will make sure that it's available to all of you. And for those who did sign up that couldn't make it, I'll make sure that we get that out to those families as well. So, Colleen, if you're ready, I'll let you take over, and Connor, Dave, and I will be available whenever you need us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I'll just echo what you said, Brooks. Thank you all. I know that time is precious, so we appreciate you taking the time this evening to join us and learn a little bit more about what we're doing beyond the classroom here at Tilton. So, as Brooks said, I sort of oversee everything that happens after school, whether that's on the athletic fields or in the arts, theater, community service. And I'm just going to kind of walk through what some of that programming is today. And then we will also, as Brooks pointed out, we have Dave Smuddick here from Highland Mountain. We're going to sort of feature one of our new programs that we're super excited about, and it's going to be important to hear from Dave and from Connor, quite frankly, about the scheduling and how we're going to go about implementing this new program, this new partnership with Highland Mountain. So bear with me until we get to that exciting part. I think we have a lot of really neat things to talk about here in terms of how we approach the afternoons at Tilton. So without any, I'm not advancing my slides. There we go. So this is sort of what the afternoons look like in sort of a snapshot graphic. These are the options that kids have. It is a requirement that all students have an obligation or a commitment in the afternoons at Tilton, and that's it's really just a way to certainly get them to think beyond the classroom. We think there's a ton of value in the way that kids learn when they're outside those four walls and the opportunities that they get to do that. So we value it, and therefore they are required to do that. But we also try to work with our students to make sure that they are able to find something that they are interested in, if not passionate about, and pursue that event or topic or activity, whatever it is. So I will start with athletics. And that is because most kids at Tilton during some season are part of a competitive athletics team. And that may be something that is individual, like cross country, or team-oriented sports, which we have like 25 different sports that kids can play from fall through the spring. But we really view this and all afternoon activities as an extension of the learning process, an extension of the classroom. And I specifically am really passionate about how athletics in particular can help teach our kids to be resilient, to take on challenges that they won't find elsewhere. And one really interesting conversation I had years back that has stuck with me, that was with one of my mentors, was he pointed out how, like, nowhere else in the world is there, at least when you're in high school, is there someone like actively creating obstacles for you, right? So here at Tilton, I think if any of you happen to jump on the Team Tilton um, episode of Tuesdays with Tilton, you'll have a good understanding of how we really build these cohesive teams around our students to help them succeed. What they're doing is very hard, particularly for our younger students. And so we go to great lengths to try and make sure that they have all the scaffolding, all the support that they need to be super successful, particularly on the academic side, right? And then, but nowhere in the world is we're all there to help. We're lifting them up. Whereas when you jump on an athletic field or court or the ice, there's literally someone on the other side trying to stop you from being successful. And you have to overcome those challenges and find a way to do it within these set rules, right? So I find that the opportunity for learning and growth and development and becoming resilient is just extraordinary when we talk about athletics. And we take it very seriously, and we really do value the character side. I say this to all my coaches, like I literally don't care, like, what the win-loss record is at the end of the year, so long as the student athletes that you've been working with had, a positive experience and feel like they learned something, they got something out of it, that will help them progress to, the next step of their development. So there's some highlights. We certainly love the opportunity that athletics offers to also help us develop leaders in the sense of our captains of our teams and the leaders of different activities that we have throughout the afternoon. Sticking with athletics, the coaching culture is really neat in a boarding school, and particularly here at Tilton. We're an intentionally small community, so our teachers are our coaches, and our coaches are usually teaching or involved in the student's life in some other way. And so we really work hard to help our faculty members, our staff members understand that they are mentors and educators first, and to really try to model the types of behaviors, but also the approaches that we take to our own personal learning and growth. So, we spend a lot of time with our coaches trying to, help them, support them as they are also doing a hard thing, and that is trying to teach sometimes difficult, sometimes complex systems to young people. So we're proud of that, but it's also very important to understand that these coaches, pardon, are also teachers and very often also living in the dorm with our student athletes. One thing that we are really, I will speak for myself, and I know Tilton as a community is really yeah, we really like to emphasize is this idea of the multi-sport athlete. I don't know how many folks on this particular webinar have student athletes that are considering coming to Tilton, but we have some really successful programs here on both the boys and girls side. Particularly our girls basketball team has been outstanding over the last several years. They won nationals back to back. They won the NEPSAC tournament last year. They play at the highest level. And what you're seeing here is one of our student athletes, Maddie McCaffrey, who, while an outstanding basketball player and someone who will go on to play in college, she also spent her fall helping our Tilton soccer team get to their first NEPSAC final in a long time. So we encourage multi-sport participation because we believe in it, not just for the sense that we like to have strong teams and good athletes, but really for the development of the student and the health of the student. So we try to get all of our students involved in more than one sport. All right, so before I move on to a different pillar in the afternoon, are there any specific questions around athletics or, how we approach athletics at the Tilton School? And Brooks, did you want them to put it in the chat if they have questions along the way, or Is
No,
it
not
sort of?
necessarily. We can, someone can definitely chime in. It can be interactive. If someone felt like they were kind of in and out or were distracted and they wanted to leave it in the chat, they could do that. But someone can speak up and say, "Hey, Colleen, I have a question about this sport or practice." Totally fine. Yep.
Perfect. Excellent. All right. Well, if you come up with any questions, feel free to certainly bring them up later or throw them in the chat. Another really important offering that we have in the afternoons, and something that we're super proud of and have been doing, a woman by the name of Julie Caldwell has been spearheading the service side of our offerings for about a quarter century now. And we have a few service partners out in the community. There's a veterans home, there's a soup kitchen, and an elementary school, an afternoon program at an elementary school, that are sort of always on our schedule in terms of, oops, sorry about that, in terms of the organizations that we service. And so this is an offering that is some students, if they're playing soccer in the fall and lacrosse or baseball or golf in the spring, they may take the winter to join the community service team and get out into our greater community around Tilton in Northfield, and just really get to know the people that live around us, that live around our campus. And every year, we have an all-school community service day, which is also it just is a really neat event where everyone that is either staff, faculty, students go out on different assignments in the community and just give back. And it's always it's a fantastic day, and the people that we serve are super appreciative. So that is another offering that we have at Tilton in the afternoons. All right, so going beyond that sort of was the headline to this webinar tonight. And that is everything I just talked about, I consider going beyond. It's anytime you're outside of the traditional educational model. I feel like these kids have a chance to try things that are slightly lower stakes. There's no grades with athletics. We certainly hold them accountable and we take attendance, but they're able to take risks and try things that they may think they are not capable of, and learn a lot about themselves. But we also have a number of students that have interests and passions that go beyond what we have in our regular programming. So we have had one young student last year, a female student, wanted to pursue an automotive project. So she rebuilt a car in the spring of last year, which was really neat. We have a student now that is working at a veterinary clinic and learning all about that. In addition to those things, we also will have athletes that are interested in sports that we don't have a team for. So, for instance, we have a student this winter who is swimming down in Concord for the YMCA. That's her passion, and we don't have a swim team at Tilton, but we're able to support her in that way by partnering with the YMCA down in Concord. Similarly, while we are likely to introduce it very soon, we don't have volleyball an offering for boys or girls right now, and we have a female athlete who is playing on a club volleyball team as part of that's her afternoon obligation and commitment. So because of where we are located in Tilton and how close we are to Concord, to Manchester, there are just a ton of opportunities for our students to expand beyond the Tilton campus and find things that they're really passionate about. And we do our best to make sure that we're able to support them as they take on those challenges and find them. So this idea of the independent co-curricular or the independent learning experience is an opportunity for students to come to us with something. And there is a formal process to it. So it's not just that the student says, I want to go, do this thing. We make sure that there's a plan to make it successful. So if there's any travel involved, if there are any expenses involved, that there's always an adult that's supervising or mentoring that person as they take on this challenge. But just based on our location alone, we're really able to work with our students to make sure that those opportunities that they find or that they create can be supported by our staff in our school. And then the arts. So we talked about community service, and we have this is we've got visual arts, studio arts, performing arts, and music as well. So while we are again intentionally small, we tend to have a pretty well diversified faculty that is able to support all these areas in different ways. So in the afternoons, students, it varies from season to season. In the fall and the winter, we have studio art. In the spring, there's broadcast video, which is really neat. The kids literally have a YouTube show that they produce. And then this year, we introduced a student led social media team that goes out, covers our games and other things that happen around campus. That has expanded most recently into sports photography. There's a number of students who are interested in taking action shots at our games and learning that skill, and then of course taking those photos and sharing them out on social media, and they start to learn how social media works in the best of ways, right? We get these announcements out. We get to promote the student athletes that are around us and the work that they do in the afternoons, and they get to learn how all those platforms work and what people like to see published on those channels. And so before we move into sort of the featured the featured discussion with Dave and Connor, are there any questions around the standard afternoon programming that we're offering here at Tilton? All right. Well, then we'll move on. So this is super exciting, and this is my second year at Tilton, and I know we have this incredible facility right down the road from campus, the Highland Mountain Bike Park. And it's been there for a long time, and I know going years back we've done different things to partner with them. In fact, in the summers they hold their camps, and we'll use our campus for boarders and things like that. But over the last year or so, we've been working on taking this partnership to a new level and creating a development program for kids that really want to take their mountain biking to the next level. And what's exciting about this is that we are, number one, it's very unique, right? There's nowhere in New England like Highland Mountain Bike Park. It's lift access, and they've created a way to carry your bike up the mountain so that the kids can ride down. It is very downhill and gravity specific. Dave, you can talk more about that in a little bit. But what we're learning is that it's a growing sport. It's rapidly growing, and kids want more of it. So we have a mountain biking team at Tilton every fall, and Connor, who's on here today, is one of the coaches of that team. But we see an opportunity for kids, again, that are real serious about trying to get better, not necessarily, winning races just yet, but certainly pushing themselves to become better and stronger riders. We ran a pilot program of sorts this fall with about 3 of our student athletes, where they worked with a coach from Highland Mountain, specifically just getting expert training, expert coaching from them throughout the fall. And while they didn't have the opportunity to participate in many downhill races, that is an area of growth that we're focusing on in the fall. So coming in the fall of 26, this coming fall, we're going to have a competitive downhill mountain biking team that will be a partnership with Highland Mountain. What's neat about this is that I keep trying to hit the arrow. Sorry, folks. What's neat about this is that one of the challenges for mountain biking in the fall in New England is just the lack of daylight, right? So our academic day runs from about 8 a.m. to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And by the time the kids get changed and get ready and get over to Highland Mountain, even though it's only a couple miles away, it really kind of digs into the daylight that we have left for them to ride. So that was a challenge. The lift over there is open on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, which was another challenge. So what we did at Tilton and with Dave and Connor being our director of academics and student growth was worked to find a way to add or build in some flexibility to the academic schedule so that if there are students that want to take their mountain biking to the next level, they will be able to do so with the help of an academic coordinator. So essentially, what we're looking at is a Thursday, Friday schedule that gets them out of the classroom a little bit earlier than others or than the standard day over to the mountain so that they can get a couple extra hours per day of riding in. And all of this without sacrificing anything on the academic side. And that was a big, real important part of it was like, how can we do this and make sure that the rigor of the academic schedule that we offer is not negatively impacted. And so we think that we've come up with a really good plan. We're excited about it. And I think now is probably Dave, if you don't mind jumping on, I'll leave this slide up, but to talk a little bit more about like the history of the program, the times that we've tried to pull this type of partnership together and what finally got us here.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks again for having me. Again, my name's Dave, and I work over at Highland Mountain Bike Park, which is about a 7-minute commute from Tilton School. We've had a long partnership with the school, as Colleen mentioned, with our summer camps. In the summer, we house in the Pfeiffer Hall and Moore Hall, and we've just had a great partnership as the years have seemed to fly by. But much like Colleen mentioned, we are a lift access downhill park. So if you're not really sure what all that means, and you're familiar with a ski area or a skiing and snowboarding, it's very much like that. You take a chairlift up and you ride down a whole network of trails. Your green trails, your more beginner trails, all the way to your most advanced trails. And this picture here, I believe that's Uma, who was one of our student athletes last fall. That's going to be one of our more advanced trails, jump trails. So we have about 30 or so trails. It's a chairlift that can take 3 riders up at once. And yeah, and our philosophy and mission at the bike park is training and trails. So a lot of our planning and business development and we're always trying to build trails and teach people how to ride them and to make the sport a bit more accessible to a broader audience and really grow the industry. That's kind of a really big goal of Highlands, and the owner Mark's super passionate about that. And that's kind of, for many years we've been trying the youth programs. We have a very successful summer camp now. It's going on 2011, I believe, is our first year. So it's been a while. We've been chugging along. I think it was 2012 or 13 we started a partnership with Tilton School, and we did kind of pilot a program like this already. And one of the really cool aspects of Tilton that's, Colleen mentioned the flexibility and the going beyond, and the student being able to bring kind of the idea to the school, and the school being flexible to work to bringing that to fruition. That's how this whole Tilton and Highlands started, actually. I came from a ski academy background in high school. So applying that to mountain biking, which, as Colleen mentioned, is not really a thing yet, this is our opportunity to kind of start that. But there was a student that reached out to Tilton, had connected the dots on his own. He's from the Bay Area, California. The bike park he followed Highland and then Tilton School, and kind of connected how close they were, and reached out and started asking lots of questions about I go to school there. Can we ride? And that was sort of the very beginning concept of, oh, let's kind of kick this into gear. And there were some challenges along the way with the schedule. And like Colleen said, we operate in the spring and the fall only 4 days a week, and we close at 5. So, there were some challenges to really find that sweet spot of a program. And this, I don't remember, Colleen, when we met and started talking exactly, but it seems like this last year it's been this really refreshing new life is being being launched in this program, and Connor and the flexibility of the program, of the educational piece and the academic side to match with kind of our operating schedule and when we can really maximize a student athlete's ability to do a gravity fed program at our mountain. And that's where we're at now. We had 3 students last year, which was this past fall, which was really pretty special to see this kick up again. And yeah, lots of new interest, especially from not just the school side, but from us. We have a lot of families in our summer camps, and they're just really wanting a program like this for their child, their student, their rider. Just a bit more gravity specific mountain biking. There's the cross country discipline of mountain biking, and then this is just another discipline that's very gravity specific, race oriented. So yeah, fall of 26, we plan on launching with a kind of a modified schedule. It's about 5 days a week, 15 hours of training at Highland with coaches. There'll be everything from trying to meet the students where they are. You don't have to be exactly what you see UMA launching through the air yet. It is for somebody that's a rider. We're very flexible at meeting where those students are, and then we build on a progression of skills. So it's not we have safety in mind, and really this process at the fundamentals. Just like any sport, you got to get the fundamentals down, and then you keep building on that and practice and reps and things. And it's really no different with gravity, with mountain biking, and albeit a bit more of an extreme sport and counterculture. I don't know if they still use those terms, but we definitely have, borrowed the processes from all the major sports and really applied it to what we're trying to do with the mountain biking with Tilton and the gravity program.
Excellent.
And racing, that is another topic Colleen mentioned that we're hoping to grow more racing, either hosting it at our park or having other, there is some racing in the fall regionally. I think between Connecticut, Mass, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. There's an opportunity for a couple of races as early as next year for sure. So yeah, that's I guess that's kind of the overview.
Nice. And Connor, one thing I was hoping to hear from you on, and this was like part of what the spark of the whole thing was, to help folks understand that when we see a program like this, we see an opportunity like this, like Connor's brain goes in like 4 different directions in terms of what else can we do besides just race down a mountain? Can you talk a little bit about those ideas that you had when we talked about this early on?
Yeah, I think this is super exciting. First of all, thanks for having me on, and Dave, thanks for your overview. It's been really awesome to have Tilton and Highland connecting. I coach the mountain bike team, and we are really lucky to bring our cross country team, which means we do a lot of pedaling, to Highland on Thursdays and Fridays. And the boys and girls on the team are so excited that, one, they don't have to pedal, and 2, they can focus on things they really love to do, which is gravity riding. Essentially just like practicing getting more air and feeling more confident on some really fun terrain every single time that they go. And I think the coolest thing about Highland is your progression as a rider. happens so quickly because it's built so well, because it's built so intentionally. Students and my athletes are able to just progress at this rate that you just don't see when you're in, your backyard trail, and that's really cool. But yeah, to Colleen, to your point, we're looking at a model for this that I think is really exciting, and connects with kind of the mission of both Tilton School and Highland Mountain Bike Park. If Highland is looking to kind of uh, help exposure and access to the industry and to becoming part of this like mountain bike culture, we want to support that with the schedule and with the kind of ways that we can give students opportunities that they might not have otherwise had. I'm really lucky because I get to ride the lift at Highland with a couple of my athletes and kind of like bounce ideas off them. And one of them was uh, doing really cool jumps and tricks and hitting awesome features. Uh, it's great, but it's even better if there's like footage of it, if there's a video. And as many kids are interested in riding, a lot of those same kids, but then others are interested in filming and creating content and editing and building a way to kind of showcase what they're doing and what their friends are doing. So that was one of the kind of directions my mind went. We have a YouTube and filmmaking class at Tilton. Is there some connective tissue there where a student who wants to be a part of this mountain bike team, this gravity team that practices at Highland, with a special academic schedule, maybe one of the classes that they all take together is this YouTube and filmmaking that allows us to have them while they're kind of not at Tilton during the regular academic day, still having a class period, still working on a skill with some direction from a teacher and a mentor, to kind of like build some footage or build some content in the way that they want to. So that's one of the ways that I was really thinking about how the passions of students who might be into riding their bike could be expanded, and that we could support the expansion of those passions. Because I think that's really a huge part of Tilton and academics. It's not just we tell students exactly what they need in order to graduate. It's a lot of student choice. And that's something that we want to, I really want to emphasize when we talk about classes and academics at Tilton. I think, Colleen, maybe one more point that I would love to make is the flexibility in our schedule. We introduced a new schedule this year that allows for different classes to meet at different times. We've got kind of like two different weeks, a black week and a gold week. So if a student wants to be on this gravity mountain bike team, and they would be missing afternoons on Thursday and Friday so that they can get riding from noon until the lifts close at 5, which is a lot of riding and is going to help them progress and achieve their goals of becoming a really, really great downhill mountain biker. It means that they're not missing the same class every single time. And it also means that on the days where they don't ride, which would be like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we could set them up with a advisor, kind of like a coach mentor, but also kind of like a tutor that can connect them with what they've missed, help them advocate and communicate with their teachers, and then hopefully, and this is where maybe another connection with our Center for Academic Achievement comes in, have a student that would be missing the actual class if that class meets on that week, but wouldn't be so left out in the dark, would still have an opportunity to gain instruction, would still have an opportunity to get feedback from their teachers, would still have an opportunity to practice the concepts that they're learning in that class. And it wouldn't just be on the student to do it. And we also wouldn't be committing to making a student do online school. I know that in a lot of these programs, these specifically action sport programs, that is the only option for a student to do high school, is to then commit to their action sport, commit to biking, commit to snowboarding, commit to skiing, and then they have to do online school. This allows a student to do both. It allows a student to have an opportunity to be in high school, at a New England boarding school, in a part of the community, deeply embedded. You're boarding, you're going to breakfast and lunch and dinner, you're going to the sports games, you're supporting your teammates, and they're coming to support you because Highland's so close. And you don't have to give that up and do online school. So I think that's one of the things that I'm really excited about, and I think makes our program and our partnership with Highland different than what other schools are able to offer. So, Colleen, I hope that
Perfect.
answers some of your questions. I've
No,
got
for
more,
sure.
but I'm gonna leave it at those. I think those are my two best right now.
No, for sure. Thank you so much. And that's exactly it. And what I hope people are gathering here is that, this is one example, right? We're super excited about it. And it's just one example about how we're trying our best to recognize these new opportunities or these new potential programs that kids want and finding a way to make it work. So, that's really what we're hoping to do in the afternoons. And when we talk about going beyond, right? So it's like I think athletics is going beyond the classroom, and then of course something like this is going beyond even the traditional sports that most schools have. So that's sort of the takeaway, So if I see some questions in here
Yeah.
about
It looks like there's a good one here for Colleen or for Connor. It's about
sure.
the best way for freshmen to do things they're interested in, yet still getting into the whole school experience without overdoing it. Do you guide them through that? Can freshmen try the mountain biking?
So a couple questions in there. I'll answer the easy one first. Freshmen can absolutely try mountain biking. Now we're still going to have our traditional mountain bike team, and if it's for a student that's looking to try mountain biking for the first time, that's going to be the best fit for them. This program that we're talking about here would be geared towards someone who already knows that they love riding and have been doing it for a little while. But can they try it? Absolutely. That's that happens probably every year. I mean, so for sure. And then in terms of trying things that they're interested in, I guess I'm not sure I fully understand like the detail of the question, but I think that I see another example in there about it looks like Suzanne. This is both are from you. You've got a daughter Reagan who's into ballet. So if the question is, how can she go do ballet in the afternoons and still feel integrated and connected to the community? We have a ton of ways. They are, they're obviously in class together. They're in the dorms together. Day students have dorm rooms at Tilton. They don't stay there overnight, but it's a way for them to connect with their classmates in the dorm. So we certainly go, or to great lengths to make sure that every student, whether they're a day student, whether they're someone that's part of the basketball or hockey teams, or someone that's doing an independent activity, that they stay connected and get connected to the school. So hopefully that answers the question, and if not, certainly follow up.
We've got another one here for Connor and Dave. Could you speak to opportunities to learn bike maintenance and trail design maintenance? Outstanding program. So anything on that, guys?
We just had a renovation of our bike room. That's awesome. It allows us to store bikes at our school for our mountain bike team. And I know that there's bike storage at Highland for our gravity team. But we've got a bike stand and we have to do repairs on our bikes in between races. And riding downhill does do a lot of, wear and tear on your bike. A lot of bike maintenance and learning how to do bike maintenance is trying to get to an expert and watching someone in the shop do it, and that takes some time. And that's something that a partnership with Highland is really cool, that you can go and you can ask questions. But from the Tilton side of it, Dave, and that's really what I can speak to on this, is that we have a space to practice this, and we change our own tires. We make sure that our chains are lubed before we race. We make sure that if something needs to be adjusted or tightened, like that's something that me and the other coach are teaching all of our students or athletes to do. But usually when something breaks or something becomes like beyond our kind of like basic bike mechanic skills, we take it over to Highland.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. A lot of bike parts break at Highland, unfortunately. Um, we do have a very busy bike shop. We have over 100 rental bikes that get serviced every time they go out and come back in. We have probably 3 or 4 career mechanics that work there seasonally and even most of the year round too, prepping bikes for the next season. So the one program we do have with summer camp is in the evenings we do a little bike maintenance sort of class for our summer campers, as well as a trail building. They get to sort of pick and choose where their interest is, and some of what we teach is more um, like Connor mentioned, it's kind of the basics. A lot of bike maintenance is in fact prevention too, and just being able to recognize, especially with newer mountain bikers or younger mountain bikers, knowing when it's time to get something addressed before it's too late and gets that much more costly or can be a danger. So we absolutely have opportunity to program anything like that and add value and do classes, and we're cranking along over there and more than willing to have students come over and see what it's like, set up specific times, especially within the Tilton and Highland program, there's going to be little bits of maintenance every day and bike checks and things like that. There's no reason why we couldn't merge some of that and allow that opportunity for anyone. And then on the trail building side, Highland has another company, a sub company called Highland Trails. It's a master planning and trail building company that essentially goes out and builds parks for example, Loon Mountain right up the road. We've been building their park for the last 6 or 7 years. We're at Sugarloaf last summer, and they have all our trails that get a lot of maintenance and building. So there's certainly opportunity there to educate and see kind of what some best practices are for trail building. I know Tilton has some woods back there, Brooks, behind the rink there's been a little bit of activity as far as an opportunity to build some trails and have students involved in the whole process. And I'll be really landing on thick for Tilton to do that. But
We have 2 rising seniors. We do something, seniors have something called a legacy project. They take on something that they're interested in doing that's going to leave some sort of legacy at the Tilton School. Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's a chapel talk at school meetings, sometimes it's an event that helps our community come together. But these 2 boys on the mountain bike team, we just rode some cross country trails in Franklin at the dam. They have a great cross country trail system over there, and a new trail got put in, and I tried to put it in their ear that like, hey, like you guys, like this looks like a pretty good legacy project. We called the woods behind the rink the back 40. So obviously, the students are interested in riding a feature that they weren't good at and then recreating it and riding it until they get good at it. And I think that that's a really cool part about mountain biking and something that our mountain bike team has like tried to create in our back 40. But chainsaws and heavy machinery and things like that. Like our kids want to build, 15-foot tabletops, and we're still at the wood on top of a log jump stage. So
yeah,
we have room for growth.
Yeah.
All right.
Colleen, what else do you have?
That's really that's the last slide that I had. It was sort of like the finale going through the mountain biking program. And again, while we're excited to feature that and to educate everyone on this webinar about that program, it's just sort of hopefully in a bigger or broader sense gives you an idea of how we're thinking about our programming, and how we can be innovative and flexible to try and introduce really exciting and new things for our students.
Yeah, I'm grateful again that everyone's been able to join us and that Connor and Dave could offer such wonderful insight to the relationship that we have had with Highland. I've known Dave for a long time, and the respect that our school has for their company and that mountain is amazing. It's tremendous. We feel good about the partnership. We always have. Our relationship is only getting stronger. So these opportunities for our current kids and our new kids, it's something that's really special, and it's really awesome tonight that we could highlight it on such a specific level with evidence. So I'm excited that we could do this. Thank you, Colleen, for leading the way with the presentation. Thank you again to Connor and Dave for weighing in with your experience and your feedback and just your knowledge of what you're doing. It's really special. We'll be doing another one of these for those of you that are still on Tuesday, the 24th of February at 7 p.m. So we'd love to have you all back to talk more about that. Like I said, this will be, we've recorded this so I can get this out to everyone. And if you have any more questions, we can field a few more right now if you didn't have a chance to put it in the chat. So if anything, if anybody else has anything they want to ask, now would be a great time. Anything from you three that in wrapping up here?
Oh, cool. Neat. I'm just reading through the comments. Yeah, no, I think no, I don't have anything else. I just I thank everyone for taking the time.
Thank you so much. And if you think of anything after this, please don't hesitate to reach out, and we love to talk about mountain biking over at Highland, so we can get connected and answer anything that you may have on your mind.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great night.
Thanks, Brooks. You too.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Thanks, Colleen and
Thanks,
Connor.
Connor.
Yep, Dave, I'll be in touch.